In the constantly evolving world of firearms, there are a handful of legendary guns that simply refuse to be forgotten. This video dives into 5 classic firearms that were once discontinued, overlooked, or tossed aside, only to claw their way back into the hands of modern shooters. Speaking as someone who's been part of the American gun culture for over 20 years, I've watched the trends come and go. But there's something truly satisfying about watching these timeless designs rise from the ashes. From the unmistakable silhouette of the iconic Colt Python to the gritty reliability of the M1 Carbine, these guns aren't just pieces of machinery, they're symbols of resilience and brilliance in firearm design. In this breakdown, I'll give you my take on each one, mixing personal experience, historical insights, and the real-world buzz from the shooting community to explain why these old legends are once again flying off the shelves. Colt Python, the snake that refuses to die. The story of the Colt Python is a roller coaster of prestige, decline, and redemption. Originally launched in 1955, this revolver stood out as a high watermark in revolver craftsmanship. Every part was hand-fitted, the action was buttery smooth, and the trigger felt like it was gliding on glass. With its vented rib and deep royal blue finish, the Python looked just as good as it shot. It quickly earned a cult following from law enforcement, competitive shooters, and serious collectors. But by the time the late 1990s rolled around, rising costs, legal troubles, and shrinking demand pushed Colt to halt production. Overnight, used Pythons became prized treasures, fetching jaw-dropping prices in the secondary market. Then came 2020, and the snake struck again. Colt brought back the Python, this time crafted from stainless steel, with beefed-up internals and a stronger frame engineered to handle full-power .357 Magnum loads. The gun world exploded with excitement. I remember the wave of hype crashing through every online forum and local range. Shooters, collectors, and longtime fans jumped to place pre-orders, hoping the new Python would live up to the legend. Having spent trigger time with both the vintage models and the revamped version, I can tell you the new Python holds its ground. It's tougher, smoother, and built for the long haul. Still, I do miss the old-school royal blue finish. That deep, polished look was a thing of beauty. Today's version sells for north of $1,500, but for anyone who appreciates top-tier machining and a nod to history, it's money well spent. The shooting community agrees. The forums are packed with praise for its refined internals and durability, though some traditionalists still mourn the loss of the original finish. Thanks to a pop culture push from The Walking Dead and its undeniable shelf appeal, the Colt Python is once again a top seller among revolvers, proof that real legends, they never stay buried. Winchester Model 70, the comeback king of bolt guns. The Winchester Model 70 has lived through decades of admiration, controversy, and revival. First hitting the market back in 1936, this bolt-action rifle quickly became a favorite for its smooth cycling, forged steel receiver, and consistent accuracy. It featured controlled round feed, a beloved design choice borrowed from the Mauser action, and a crisp, user-adjustable trigger. Hunters and marksmen alike trusted it to deliver shot after shot without fail. But in 1964, everything changed. Winchester decided to cut production costs, and in doing so, they swapped the Mauser-style extractor for a push-feed system and cut back on quality across the board. Loyal shooters were crushed. Overnight, those pre-1964 rifles went from common to collector gold, and the new version was treated as a shell of its former self. When the company shuttered its New Haven factory in 2006, many of us thought that was the end of the line for the legendary Model 70. Thankfully, the folks at F.N. Herstal stepped in and brought it back to life around 2007, with production kicking off the following year. The new models combine advanced CNC machining with old-school touches, like the classic three-position safety. It may not be the most featherweight rifle out there, and some folks like to grumble about the current production happening in Portugal, but let me tell you, this rifle runs. I've hauled mine through brush, across ridgelines, and even used it for long-range steel work. It just performs, plain and simple. While some folks still go back and forth online about push feed versus controlled round feed, I think the new build hits the sweet spot. Starting at around $1,200, the current Winchester Model 70 isn't exactly cheap, but for what you're getting, a piece of history with modern reliability, it's worth every penny. Ithaca 37, the no-nonsense shotgun that keeps showing up. The Ithaca Model 37 might not be the flashiest scattergun on the rack, but if you've ever run one, you know it's the real deal. First produced in 1937, this pump-action shotgun made a name for itself with its bottom ejection design, a godsend for us left-handed shooters, and a rugged, all-steel construction that just shrugs off abuse. It might not have had the marketing push of some of the bigger brands, but those who relied on it, farmers, patrol officers, even Navy SEALs during Vietnam, knew it would never quit on them. Despite its reputation, Ithaca ran into financial trouble more than once, including a major halt in production back in 2005. A lot of us thought the gun might disappear for good, but like a classic pickup that just won't die, the Ithaca 37 came back, this time made in Ohio by new ownership that understood what made the original so special. Today's version stays true to its roots. There's still only one port on the bottom for both loading and ejecting, and no fancy rails or gimmicks. And honestly, that's part of the charm. It's a purpose-built gun, stripped of anything unnecessary and focused on doing one job well. Whether I'm working ducks over decoys or shooting a round of sporting clays, mine just keeps cycling shells without a hiccup. At $895, it's not exactly a budget buy, but it's built like a tank, and if you treat it right, it'll still be running strong decades down the road. Among serious shooters, the Ithaca 37 is often described as the best shotgun nobody talks about. It may not be flashy or tricked out for tactical operations, but if you're someone who values a solid, proven design, this shotgun is as dependable as they come. Remington 870, the pump gun that just won't stay down. When it comes to pump-action shotguns, few names carry the weight that the Remington 870 does. Launched in 1950, it quickly became the go-to choice for just about everything from duck blinds to patrol cars and battlefield breaching. With twin action bars and a milled steel receiver, it gained a legendary reputation for toughness and reliability. Whether you were shooting a light 20-gauge or a hard-hitting 12-gauge Super Magnum, there was always an 870 built for the job. But things took a downturn in the early 2000s. In an effort to cut costs, Remington rolled out the Express series, and with it came rough machining, gritty cycling, and lawsuits. The quality just wasn't what it used to be, and many long-time fans were disheartened. The collapse of Remington Outdoor Company and a full production shutdown in 2020 felt like the final nail in the coffin. Then came Firearms, rising from the ashes and bringing back the 870 under a new name, the Fieldmaster, in 2021. I was skeptical at first, but after handling one myself, I'll admit, it brought back that old-school feel. The action is noticeably smoother, the finish is cleaner, and overall build quality is where it should be. Whether I'm running an 18.5-inch barrel for home defense or stretching out with a 28-inch setup in the marsh, this gun just delivers. It's flexible, affordable, starting at around $530 and built for the long haul. Sure, the crossbolt safety still isn't ideal for us lefties, but that's a small gripe for a shotgun that can truly do it all. The shooting community seems to agree. The Fieldmaster is the comeback story we were hoping for. M1 Carbine, a rifle that carries its history. The M1 Carbine isn't just a rifle, it's a symbol of American military heritage. First issued during the Second World War, it gave soldiers a lightweight, easy-handling firearm chambered in .30 caliber carbine, something more potent than a pistol but lighter than a full-size battle rifle. While it never aimed to replace the M1 Garand, it found its niche with paratroopers, vehicle crews, and frontline officers who needed something compact and effective. By the mid-1970s, the M1 Carbine had been phased out, overtaken by modern rifles like the M16. For decades, it lived mostly in collectors' safes and military surplus auctions. But lately, interest in this iconic rifle has surged once again, largely thanks to Auto Ordnance, who's been producing quality reproductions that stay true to the original spirit. At around $1,200, these faithful replicas bring the past to life, complete with 15-round magazines and that unmistakable wood and steel profile. Shooting one is like flipping through a living history book. It's not about rapid fire tactics or customization, it's about nostalgia, connection, and appreciation for a platform that served through Europe, the Pacific, and beyond. Yes, the .30 caliber carbine round can be a bit picky with mags. And no, it won't outperform your AR-15 at the range, but that's not what this rifle is about. It's a tribute piece, a conversation starter, and one heck of a shooter when treated right. Forums and range days are full of proud owners comparing builds and swapping maintenance tips. The M1 Carbine may be old, but it's far from forgotten. Final thoughts. Legends that refuse to fade. These 5 firearms are more than just gear, they're living proof that exceptional design and practical performance never truly go out of style. From the Colt Python's refined charm to the precision of the Winchester Model 70, the rugged utility of the Ithaca 37, the hard-working Remington 870, and the battle-worn heritage of the M1 Carbine. Each one tells its own story and earns its place in the hands of modern shooters. Their re-emergence isn't just about nostalgia, it's about timeless function meeting renewed craftsmanship. In a world of polymer and Picatinny, there's still a place for cold steel and walnut stocks. And we're lucky to be around while these legends are making their return, ready for new adventures, new owners, and another chapter in their already rich histories.